you ever followed a content creator or an influencer and you tried out all the same makeup pieces, the colors, everything to an exact T, the same technique, you name it, you put it on your face and it looked completely different. It looked terrible. You're like, what am I missing? What is the secret? Maybe you tried out just a gorgeous bold red lip that looked phenomenal on that person, and then you put it on you, you look like a clown. Or maybe you just love that no makeup look and you go to attempt it, and instead of it coming off flawless like the creator and just natural and glowing, instead you just look completely washed out. You look like a ghost like me. I'm going to explain the differences, why you sometimes don't achieve the results you want to achieve in your makeup technique. We're going to talk a little bit of some color theory, but it's not the standard color theory you might have heard before. It's a little different twist, kind of a new trend going around. It's been coined with the phrase contrast theory. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss what features you might have, what type of contrast you have, and what kind of makeup you should be applying to each of those contrast categories in order to find the makeup that is the most flattering for your features. We're going to talk about it. So if that interests you, stick around and we're going to go ahead and dive right on into this. So hi, I am Cher and welcome, especially if you're new here. A little about me. I, in general, cover a lot of different makeup reviews. Definitely spend a lot of time on beauty boxes here. We do the spoilers, unboxings, try-ons, and all of that on a lot of the popular ones. Follow a lot of the latest collections, latest breaking makeup, you name it. But I actually do some freelance makeup on the side. And let me tell you, this kind of video is like my favorite video to do. I love more of just us freely being able to chat makeup theory, chat makeup education, really like hone into our skills. I love to tell you guys the why behind things, the science behind things, the color theory behind things. Like, this is totally my jam, and I really want to do more videos like this. So I really hope today is helpful for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy this kind of content as much as I do. If it's successful, I really want to bring more of this to you. So let me know, give me some feedback on today. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about today's topic, and that is the idea of contrast in our makeup. So this is not a new concept or idea because it's something that a lot of artists are really familiar with. If you are an artist more in painting and drawing and whatnot, or if you are a photographer, those kind of artists are very familiar with contrast theory, but it hasn't maybe been as etched out in makeup as much. And the trend has kind of been named and actually labeled. And so now it has started becoming more of a trend, like on TikTok. And there is an actual TikToker, I think, who dubbed this and kind of got it started. Or, you know, the theory's always kind of been out there in other arts, but she's probably the one who has actually articulated it and put it into like steps for us to learn and be able to understand it better when applying our makeup. And so that's what I want to go through with you guys on. If you have not seen this trend, or if you've seen it and maybe clips of it, but it wasn't explained very well, we're going to walk through all that. And I really want to make this like a, you know, contrast theory for dummies video. So let's discuss what is contrast theory. Start at the beginning. What is contrast? So contrast is going to be the differences between the colors of our features, like how much contrast is there between it. So for example, my skin tone. Okay, I am pretty light skin tone. I mean, I could be more pale. There's some that are more pale than me, but I'm on like kind of the lighter end of the skin tone range, but my hair is very dark. Now, this isn't my natural hair now. It was my natural hair when I was younger. Now my natural hair is gray because I'm 46. But I dye it every month. I did leave a little bit of my roots showing so that you can see. We can talk about that, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes when it comes more to like hair color and things like that. But basically you can see there's a big difference between my skin tone and the color of my hair and the color of my brows and the color of my eyes, right? So everything on me, my eyes and my hair are very dark and my skin is very light. So I'm a pretty high contrast person. So when I say high, what I mean by that is There's a high contrast. There's a lot of difference between the colors on me, as opposed to somebody that's a low contrast. So for example, if you are a blonde and you have a skin tone about like mine, you have a fairly light skin tone, but more blonde hair and maybe like lighter eyes, like blue eyes, and your brows aren't as dark as mine. Everything's light on you. Everything matches, right? So your hair color is closer to your skin color, and your skin color is closer to your brow color and your eye color, right? Everything's kind of matching more. So that's a very low contrast. There's not a lot of contrast between the colors of your features, right? So that's basically what contrast is in a nutshell. And it's broken into 3 categories according to this contrast theory dubbed by this TikToker. We talked about 2 of them. You have the high contrast and you have the low contrast. So the third one is going to be the medium contrast, so the one in between there somewhere. So that might be somebody who maybe you have dark hair like me, but you're a lot more tan than me. So your skin tone color, you might have darker hair, but your skin tone color is maybe a little bit closer of a match to your hair than mine is. My skin tone is not a match to my hair color at all, right? It's the complete opposite. But maybe if you have a little bit darker, tanner complexion than me, you're gonna be a closer match to my hair color than I am. So you're gonna be a little bit more of a medium. So if that makes sense. All right, so within each of these categories, it doesn't mean that everybody has pale skin though, right? So this works within all skin tones and within all hair colors and all of that. It's all about relative to other colors on your face. So for example, you can have a deep skin tone lady who, has the complete opposite complexion as me, but still has black hair, dark brows, dark eyes. She's low contrast. She has a low contrast, because all of the features on her kind of match, right? Everything is about the same color. There's not huge contrasts in her facial feature, in the color of her facial features, right? Or hair features, whatever. Also apply to your clothing. So you'll notice maybe if I wear black, okay, let's take this off. Actually, this is a perfect example. I didn't even mean to dress this way. I'm just dressed casually and comfy today. So my sweatshirt, if it was white, the white, that's about as opposite as you could get of my hair, right? So I am in pretty high contrast. Black and white is about as high contrast as you can get. But if I remove my sweatshirt, I'm wearing black. I am now in a lot lower contrast, aren't I? Because my hair matches my shirt. So, this is just kind of color theory, thinking about it in everything, makeup, hair, clothing, in what we're wearing. And then I was also going to mention the hair thing and how, okay, can you see some of my gray hair showing through, right? These are my roots. I am actually growing my roots out a little bit because I am going to be working with a brand to test a new product out. I can't stand it. I don't let myself go gray, guys. And the reason is because of contrast. This is exactly why I don't grow my hair out. I can't stand the contrast. For a dark-haired brunette like me with such dark hair, my natural hair color is about this. It's very dark brown, almost black. You can see that gray hair and silver hair stands out like a sore thumb up against it. I look like a skunk when my roots show through. But somebody who's blonde that's aging, their silver hair doesn't show up as much. It's not as much of a contrast. It looks a little bit more like highlights in their hair, very natural, and they don't look as old as me. Because with me, it just looks like salt and pepper, it stands out so much. And so I just look so much older when I let it go gray. Different than somebody blonde and lighter hair color, that silver does not stand out as much because they have a much lower contrast, right? Oh, now kind of understanding contrast, what it all means and the categories, let's talk about how you do your makeup for each of these categories. So the theory is, and the idea is, the high contrast people like myself We look better with bolder makeup, basically, if I have to describe how you apply your makeup to look best. All right, so look at me right now. I absolutely would not walk out the door like this. Of course, part of it is I'm a makeup artist and it bothers me to walk out the door without makeup because I know how much better I could look. It's really hard for me to look like this. But you can really see the contrast between my pale skin and not a lot of extra color or boldness at all, and those dark features on me. Do you see how washed out I look? I look very washed out. I look like a ghost. It doesn't look right on me. I need color. I need boldness. I need more definition in some places to make everything kind of look better and not so washed out and crazy. Somebody who is lower contrast, though, can pull this off. They can pull off a natural face much better because everything kind of blends together more. It doesn't look so starched, the differences. So a low contrast person, in general, natural makeup looks better on them. Minimal makeup and neutrals, nudes, those kind of colors tend to look better on them. Or the colors that are kind of matching their features, basically, the complementary colors, if that makes sense. So like blondes that are low impact will tend to do a lot better with those neutrals and nude colors. It looks beautiful on them and natural. Now I tend to wear a lot of neutrals and nudes, but I still do a lot of definition around the eyes. So we'll talk about that. But what pops and looks amazing on me as a fairly high contrast person are smoky eyes. Bold, smoky, defined eyes, big lashes, bold red lips. So I can pull off those va-va-voom colors, guys. And I think that it might explain why I hate natural makeup. I'm not a natural girl at all. 80% of my clients want natural, and I'm like, ugh. And it's because I know I look best in va-va-voom. And it's partly because of the contrast theory. And I know that I just look in natural makeup, know that I need more definition than that. So then your medium impact person, they're gonna be kind of in the middle. They actually tend to a lot of times look best in like pinks and rosy cheeks, things like that, like adding a little pink, like something in the middle of like a big bold lip versus a nude lip, maybe something with more pink tones, adding a lot more blush in here. So they're just somebody who's like in the middle. They need more color, but not necessarily the true boldness as some others like myself, right? So that's kind of my best dummied down version of the contrast theory of what I recommend for, our makeup application and colors. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting on a little makeup for you guys the way is best for someone like me with high contrast. The compliments I get from all of you guys when I wear certain makeup looks, they are always the ones with a smoky eye. So keep that in mind. The other ones that you guys seem to really love on me are berry shades. Like you love when I wear those cool tone berries, but like the hot pink, basically, like darker pinks, y'all love on me. But let's talk about why. So let's discuss the why behind these makeup, why it looks better on people and kind of make it make sense for you. So I'm going to use the Naked 3 palette. I think this is just, the Naked palettes is like a standard thing a lot of your average people do have if they're a little into makeup, but they want to learn more. I feel like the Naked palettes is something everybody knows, right? I'm just going to start going straight in with the darker colors down here. Mugshot is what I'm going with. Here's how this works. Since the colors on my face that stand out the most and are the most like bold, they're my brows, my eyes, my eye color, and then my hair. But there's like nothing else on my face that is matching that, right? It's such a stark difference. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting to bridge the gap between those colors. And I've talked a little bit about this in my some other makeup tutorial videos and ideas of, you know, different techniques, but I didn't quite phrase it this way and in this context. But we're kind of coming in and filling in those gaps. So you see like my makeup now with going with more of a smokier eye, it's a little darker than my natural, you know, color of my eyes. But it's not just like black, you know, like my brows or dark brown. So I've built up that contrast, spreading out that color to a different spot so it doesn't all just zoom in on my brows, you know? And of course, you know, there's different trends out there where that would be okay, but just how it really looks in general. And of course, like the natural, more minimalist looks are kind of in right now, especially in the eyes. And we've talked about this in another video, but it's kind of like all relative, you know, like in relative to other contrast faces. So what I'm doing is I'm building that depth in. I'm going to come in with dark side next, right there. And I'm just kind of building a little bit up as we chat. But basically, I'm kind of balancing out those crazier, bolder colors on me, right? Okay, and now I'm going to come in with black. Or it's kind of a black. This is dark heart. And I'm going to like put the most of this in the corner. But when we build up this big va-va-voom smoky eye, it's adding that extra like depth in the face so that we're matching more things. It's not such a stark difference to my pale white skin. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're high impact, why do I keep saying impact? High contrast like me, that means you need a ton of makeup. No, it means, guess what? You get to wear more color, basically. You get, and I don't mean all out color like all over the face. I'm talking like in the right places to where some of that contrast just really pops. So when it comes to like your base and all of that, like when I say natural, I'm not as much talking about like how heavy your makeup should be. It's kind of more like what the colors would be. So you could still probably have as little or as a lot of makeup on. Like I'm not as much talking about full coverage as opposed to skin tints. I'm kind of talking more about your color choices. Not that I'm ever giving anybody rules. This is just according to the theory. I want to specify that because I'm the first person to tell you guys to wear what you love. What we're going to talk about is in our contour or bronze. So for me, I've talked about this a little bit before. I have it's not really square. When my hair is all down, you can really see it. And you could see it when I didn't have as much makeup on. My face can come off very square. It looks like this whole part here is almost a piece I try to shadow and hide, you know, to get it to more of that optimal, like oval shaped face. And so I think it's even worse with a high contrast face because you can see that clear starch difference between our face and our dark hair, right? So contour and like contour is even more imperative, or bronze, whatever you prefer, or both. Today, I'm just kind of using my bronzer as a contour, but like this is what I'm doing too. In addition to like shaping our face, contour or bronze or whatever, we are doing some contrast here because now we're shadowing close to my dark hair. So we're bridging a difference between my light skin tone and my hair color. And I usually wear mine pretty light. Like I usually kind of opt for bronze just because it's faster and easier for me. But it's also lighter and a little more natural for my everyday looks. But what this is doing is it's helping bridge that gap in the contrast. It's actually almost starting to like blend the colors together, right? Between my white, bright skin tone and my dark hair. So I don't just look like one big white sheet of of ghost. I'm giving myself a little depth now. So far, can you see how we have started to, because I've got these darker, smokier colors, they're a little closer matched to my hair color, right? And I have contoured, so I've started to bridge that gap. I've started to kind of blend to where it's dark here, but it's like medium along here. So everything's starting to come together more on my face. Whereas if you have a low contrast, you don't have to do as much of this. You can take your bronzer and just use it for a pop of color on the cheeks, a little bronze right here. You don't need a lot of all the extra shaping and whatnot because you're not trying to bridge the gap. It's already a closer match across the board. And so just a little pop of extra like along the cheeks where, you know, you might want a little sunburnt look instead is going to come off looking so much better on you than on somebody like me. Right, I'm saving blush because I'm going to figure out what I want to do on my lips, and I'm going to kind of match my blush to my lip color so everything doesn't stand out too weird. I'm going to go with like the darkest I can think of on my lip. This is Malt from ABH. This is super high contrast for me. Let's talk about it flipped though. What if you had deep skin and you use, I'm like hit myself, and you use this color? This is going to come off way more natural on a deep skin person. It's not going to be high contrast for them. It's going to match their lips more than it is mine. So this is going to be your everyday natural look for a woman of color. So to be contrasting for them, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be a lighter color. They might be using their concealer. They might be doing a concealer hack, right? And like go a lot lighter on the lips for their, and there's tips they have to do for that too. And sometimes they might want to kind of build the contrast on it also and bridge that gap to pull that off. But you know, it's flipped. So it's all about relative to what your natural colors already are. All right, I don't even know. I've never even tried this color on me, but we're going to go for it. This is Pound Cake. Woo! She's popping. All right, do you see these big, bold red lips on me? Now, if I was wearing like a white shirt, let's take this off because I think that my shirt is getting in the way of our color theory here. Especially if I had a white shirt, that would really pop. And so one thing to think about, guys, like whenever I wear red shirts, that really pops on me. Why is it red? Why is red the color for me? And for men, men love red. Okay, anyway. Okay, well, I have black hair and a white skin. Red is neither of those colors. It is a bold in-between color between those two things. So it works with my contrast, right? But let's take an example of some pictures of other people. So like, let's take this blonde, for example. She has a bold red lip too. Now it still looks really good on her. I'm not saying this looks bad. I think that looks phenomenal. And I would say she's probably like a medium, more of a medium contrast because, you know, her skin's a little more tan. Her hair's like blonde, but like dirty blonde. It's not like bright blonde, you know? I think she's more in the middle. But let's look at somebody with a very high contrast, kind of like me with that red lip. Look how that red lip is just, it's like it's made for them, right? And like for me, like I love these red lips on me. I don't wear them all the time because it's just not an everyday lip color for me. But when I do wear it, like the looks I get, the compliments I get, wow, you know. And then if I put some lashes with this, girl. Let's talk about if you dyed your hair. Okay, what if you change your hair color? That is going to change my contrast completely because now my hair color is going to be closer to my skin tone. And maybe the only thing that's really going to stand out different is going to be my eye color. I mean, I could wear color contacts and change that too. And I can completely change my contrast. And I would have to completely redo my makeup. You might notice that your makeup looks very different on you. Things that used to look good on you won't look good on you anymore when you change your hair color. I don't know if you've noticed that. Or like we've noticed certain colors that we wear too, right? So, like for example, let's look at, I think a perfect example of this is Rachel McAdams. This girl is so cute. I love her, by the way. Like she's just the cutest little thing. And all the roles that she's played. But so she's changed her hair color many times, and I feel like she looks like a completely different person when she does. And so look at her when she's blonde, and let's look at the makeup that's fitting her and that's looking great with this blonde look. It's a little more subdued, and that looks so good on her, and it looks like what fits her in those more nude, natural colors, right? But then she changes her hair color up, and her hair matches my color now. She's dyed it. Completely different look, isn't it? And now you can see these lips look so good on her. She's got another one where she's got like kind of like hot pink lips too. They look pretty good also. But man, this stunning on her, right? Contrast. She went from low contrast to high contrast just by changing her hair color. All right, I'm going to go in with this new Say color. It's called Chili. It's just a darker, deeper, like cooler toned color. I don't know if that's going to match. It's a little too pink. I am going to talk to you guys on another day about which blush shades look better, especially on like 40 plus skin, because sometimes these deeper skin tones don't always work as well for mature skin, and on mine included. But I'm just adding just a little touch so that we're once again building our contrast, right? Or bridging the gap in our contrast. What's the right terminology for that? Okay, so then this is our final look. I don't have on the lashes though. If I add the lashes, guys, that's gonna give you the va-va-va-voom, but I think that the bold lip speaks enough for itself. Smoky eyes. And I went more smoky on my eyes than you necessarily need to. Like even just a little touch of like darker on the side corners. We've talked about this for mature skin to mature eyes. Because you know, all that smoky kind of sinks and whatnot, but I just wanted to go kind of like a little darker overall with a bold lip to kind of demonstrate for you guys. So this is what pops on a high contrast face. So I know that not all of you guys are high contrast. Probably only 1/3 of you are. So, and I thought about doing the makeup the way I would do it for each category, but since I don't have that kind of face, it's harder to do that with you guys. I guess I could put on a wig for each category. Maybe we should do that. Maybe I should do that in a short or something and just show you the difference. But we kind of talked about it just overall. And I think that is probably where I'll end it here. I just wanted to give you guys a better understanding of this concept of contrast theory. It makes such a big difference. I think you, of course, still want to consider your undertones. But to be honest with you, you don't even have to stick as much to your undertones if you're really applying your contrast theory correctly. But that would probably be another skill level that, I don't know, it's probably just easier to think of it as stick still within your skin tone range, but just be thinking about what works in your contrast category. So hopefully that helped you guys. Let me know if you have more questions. Would love to answer them, or maybe if we want to do a part 2 to address your questions, I'm happy to do that because I love this kind of video, like I said. All right, guys, so that was really fun. Let me know what contrast category you are and if you think that this theory holds up to what looks good on you. Let me know. All right, guys, so make sure you stick around and pop that subscribe if you like content like this. I really want to be bringing you guys more. And if you liked all the other fun content, tutorials, reviews, unboxings, the beauty boxes, and vlogs, you don't want to miss it. You want to pop the subscribe, turn the notification bells to on, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.